Welcome to Canerica's podcast, The Digital Shift. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into what is arguably the most fundamental transformation underway in the modern enterprise, how artificial intelligence is moving business intelligence, well, moving it from a historical accounting function into a forward-looking strategic engine.
It really is a massive shift. For decades, BI was primarily about explaining what happened last quarter, maybe last year. Our mission today really is to give you a roadmap of how AI is accelerating that timeline, how it's turning raw data into real-time strategy. We are genuinely moving from rearview mirror analysis to predictive windshield planning.
And this isn't some far-off future thing. It's happening right now. If you needed proof of adoption, just consider these stats. We're seeing 76% of companies now utilize some form of AI. That's huge. And almost 7 out of 10, 69% to be specific, are already employing generative AI in at least one business function. That's pretty staggering adoption.
It is. Adoption is clearly high, but here's the essential paradox we need to talk about. High adoption doesn't automatically equal high impact. Not at all. What we're seeing is that only companies that really prioritize structuring their data, getting their house in order, and refining their workflows, only they are seeing measurable business value. AI-powered BI, when done right, is the necessary shortcut. It helps eliminate that manual drudgery and moves you more directly from complex, often siloed data to smart, accelerated decisions that actually drive profit.
Right. So in this deep dive, we're going to clarify what BI even means in the age of AI, explore the specific tech pillars driving this acceleration, and look at the real measurable impact this integration is having across industries. Let's start by just grounding ourselves. What was traditional BI?
Sure. Traditional business intelligence, at its core, it covers the practices for collecting data, combining it, analyzing it, and then presenting it. Its entire purpose was, and to some extent still is, to support better operational decisions, helping you answer those foundational questions. Which products generated the highest margins last month? Which customers are dropping off and maybe why? That kind of thing.
But the revolutionary part now is that these questions aren't limited to reports generated, say, last week or last month. The answers are starting to appear in real time, often without even needing to open a static dashboard. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. We're seeing the rise of AI agents. Think about platforms like Microsoft Fabric. It's integrating these specialized AI agents. They use tools like Graph and Maps to organize just vast quantities of company data, connect insights, and actively support tactical decisions. It's not just automating a report anymore, it's providing proactive analysis.
Exactly. And that concept, the proactive multi-step agent, that's what really separates modern BI from the past. Citigroup, for instance, is piloting some advanced AI agents, I believe, in its private stylus workspaces. So the user doesn't just ask for a simple report. They can kick off a complex project like research this new client, build a full profile using all our internal databases, and summarize the regulatory risks involved. The agent can actually handle all those steps automatically just from a single prompt.
Wow. That really is the crucial shift for you, the listener, to grasp. We're moving BI beyond just static visualization. It's becoming this real-time strategic assistant that helps shape the future, rather than simply analyzing the past.
Right. So now let's maybe unpack the mechanisms driving this. If traditional BI required massive human effort for prep and gave you mostly static views, modern BI is powered by tech that handles automation, prediction, and crucially, natural interaction. We can kind of distill this into 4 core functions or pillars.
Okay, let's start with the most obvious benefit, perhaps. Sheer speed and capacity. What does AI deliver immediately on that automation front?
Time. It delivers time back to the business. We're talking about data processing times dropping from potentially days of manual labor down to minutes. And this doesn't just mean faster reports, although that's nice. It fundamentally changes the job description of your analysts. They stop spending, maybe 80% of their time on tedious report building and data cleansing, and start spending nearly 100% of their time on deep analysis and strategy, actually using the insights. This initial phase often involves quite a bit of robotic process automation, RPA, that handles those relentless, repetitive, high-volume tasks.
Okay, that's the efficiency game, foundational speed. But if automation provides the speed, what's the truly revolutionary part? The bit that moves us past just looking backward faster?
That has to be predictive analytics, driven by machine learning, or ML. This is the closest thing we have to a genuine crystal ball, maybe. ML models can devour massive amounts of historical and current data, spot complex patterns humans just can't see, and then forecast future outcomes with increasing accuracy. You move from saying, here are last month's sales figures, to something like, okay, based on current marketing spend, projected weather patterns, and competitor activity, here is next quarter's likely sales forecast.
That real-time integration of external factors seems key. Like, think about retail inventory. AI models don't just calculate stock based on last year's Christmas sales. They can factor in real-time variables, like local forecasts predicting an unusually warm November, for example, and then adjust winter coat inventory recommendations down instantly, helping avoid expensive overstocking.
Exactly. But, all that predictive power is pretty useless if only your highly technical data science schemes can access it. And that's where the third major function comes in, natural language processing, or NLP.
Right. NLP democratizes the data, doesn't it? It removes the need for complex SQL or other spiralized query languages. Anyone in marketing, sales, even the C-suite can simply ask the system a question in plain English, and the system understands the intent and delivers the answer. Imagine just typing. Show me the top 5 product sales trends for West Region over the last 6 months, and could you highlight any outliers possibly linked to social media buzz?
That instant accessibility drastically flattens the learning curve across the organization. Non-technical teams become data-enabled decision makers almost overnight. And this loops back to maybe the most complex function we mentioned earlier, which is agentic AI. See, unlike a traditional ML model that might just make a prediction, an agent is designed to complete complex multi-step projects more autonomously. Think of it like a specialized digital employee that can handle an entire workflow data retrieval, some analysis, summarization, maybe even sending notifications, all without needing constant human oversight for each step.
The technology certainly sounds incredible, but integrating 4 huge components like this, automation, ML, NLP, and these new agentic capabilities, that sounds really complex. What's the single biggest implementation trap you see companies fall into? When trying to bridge that gap between just adopting AI and actually getting true, measurable business value.
The trap, almost always, is underestimating the data preparation and governance side. It really is. The AI tools themselves are becoming quite abundant, even powerful. But if the foundational data feeding them is messy, incomplete, inconsistent, or insecure, well, then the sophisticated AI agents will simply produce fast, confident garbage. This is where implementation expertise becomes absolutely non-negotiable. You can't skip this step.
And this is precisely where we at Kinerica focus our deep expertise. We bring practical, hands-on knowledge in AI, machine learning, and yes, agentic AI specifically to streamline those critical workflows. We work to ensure the foundational data structure is sound, so the intelligence being delivered is actually trustworthy and actionable.
Right. Our commitment is really to building highly scalable and secure BI systems. That security piece is vital. As a specialized Microsoft solutions partner for data and AI, we leverage powerful platforms like Power BI, Azure, and Microsoft Fabric extensively. And we prioritize data security and compliance rigorously. We ensure the systems we build aren't just intelligent but also trustworthy, which is why we maintain stringent certifications like ISO 27771 and 27701. It's core to what we do.
Let's look at a concrete example of this impact. We can reference a recent sales intelligence platform modernization project we handled. This client, a fast-growing company in the sales intelligence space, was completely bottlenecked by slow, fragmented document processing. It was holding them back. Their primary data source was just vast amounts of unstructured content, things like PDFs, legal documents, scraped web data. It took human teams days to analyze and categorize it all manually.
Yeah, that was a significant challenge. So we addressed this bottleneck by completely rebuilding their entire data pipeline using modern architecture, leveraging tools like Databricks and Python. This involved totally refactoring their legacy workflows and implementing intelligent processors specifically designed for PDF and metadata extraction at scale.
And the impact stats really demonstrate the power of getting that structure right. The client achieved an 80% faster document processing time. 80%. Their metadata accuracy shot up by 95%, which is crucial for reliable insights. And maybe most importantly, their time to insight, so the speed at which a sales executive could actually act on a market change, was accelerated by 45%.
It's a measurable competitive edge. It moves them from constantly reacting to market shifts to proactively shaping their approach based on faster, more accurate intelligence.
And the beauty of these kinds of efficiency gains is how they translate across so many different sectors, right?
Absolutely. Let's look at a few quick real-world applications just to make it more concrete. In retail, beyond general forecasting, AI allows for highly personalized recommendations and that micro-demand forecasting we touched on. Consider Levi Strauss & Co. They use AI not just for generic sales predictions, but specifically to detect emerging product trends in real time. Maybe a sudden regional spike in demand for a specific style or wash of denim. And they can then instantly adjust inventory distribution, which minimizes wasted stock and maximizes petro margins. It's very granular.
Okay. And in financial services, the application seems critical for both growth and defense, I imagine.
Definitely. AI is really the backbone of modern fraud detection and also sophisticated credit risk modeling. Take MasterCard. They use their decision intelligence system, which analyzes billions of transactions in real time. This not only dramatically reduces genuine fraud losses, but also tackles that really costly issue of false declines, where a legitimate customer's transaction is rejected. That damages trust and leads directly to lost revenue. AI helps minimize that.
Makes sense. And one more, manufacturing.
Right. In manufacturing, AI is radically changing physical operations, particularly through predictive maintenance. Ford Motor Company, for example, uses AI-driven predictive maintenance on its huge robotic assembly systems. By continuously analyzing sensor data, identifying subtle wear patterns before they lead to a critical failure, they significantly reduce unexpected downtime. And downtime is often the single biggest drain on manufacturing efficiency.
So the integration we've been discussing, it's clearly supported by a really robust ecosystem of tools now. It proves that the power of ML and NLP isn't separate anymore. It's being baked right into existing BI platforms. You've got Microsoft Power BI leveraging the full strength of Azure AI, Tableau benefiting from Salesforce's Einstein Analytics, CloudSense using AutoML for embedded forecasting, Looker integrating deeply with Google Cloud AI. The intelligence is becoming native to the tools people already use.
Which brings us nicely to our final synthesis and maybe the core takeaway on ROI. AI-driven BI fundamentally empowers businesses to move past guesswork and intuition, or at least augment it significantly. By enabling truly informed data-backed decisions, organizations consistently see better resource utilization, more optimized internal processes, and ultimately, significantly higher returns on their investments. You're essentially replacing expensive, slow manual analysis with reliable, accelerated insights and forecasts.
And while the tools and the necessity are clear, the path to unlocking that large-scale digital transformation can feel, well, intricate. Partnering with experts like we at Canerica provides you with a clearer, more secure, and frankly accelerated trajectory forward. It makes it far easier for your teams to actually use this new depth of data confidently and effectively to drive measurable growth.
So we'll leave you with this final, perhaps crucial thought for you, the listener, to consider. The competitive edge in the next 5 years, I suspect, will not primarily be found in which specific AI tool you purchase. It's going to be found in the quality, the structure, and the governance of the data you feed into those tools. The massive integration of AI into nearly every BI platform means the real challenge is shifting from the complexity of the technology itself towards the internal processes needed for robust data governance. So this raises, I think, an important question for you. What steps should you prioritize today to structure your data to ensure its continuous quality and accuracy? How do you guarantee the intelligence you receive tomorrow is truly actionable and trustworthy? Because that commitment to the data foundation, that's the real digital shift.